On May 17, 1991, the government banned the world's sweetest natural plant, one that indigenous communities safely used for centuries, and modern science now credits with breaking sugar addiction. The official warning claimed danger, yet the evidence boiled down to a single rat study, testing doses no human could consume. Who filed the anonymous complaint, and why keep this remedy off shelves for 17 years? The answer upended the lives of millions. In the subtropical heart of South America, the Guaraní people have relied on a green, leafy shrub for generations. They call it ka'ahi'i, sweet herb. Long before the rise of processed sugar, Guaraní families plucked stevia leaves from wild fields and home gardens, crushing them between their fingers to sweeten herbal drinks or calm a scratchy throat. The plant's reputation spread quietly, woven into daily rituals and traditional remedies. Ethnobotanical records trace stevia's use back centuries, its safety and value passed from parent to child, healer to apprentice. Modern science would later isolate the secret: steviol glycosides, natural compounds packed inside each leaf that deliver a burst of sweetness up to 300 times stronger than sugar, yet with 0 calories. Unlike cane or beet sugar, stevia's sweet molecules do not spike blood sugar or feed cravings. In the Guaraní homeland, this meant a way to enjoy sweetness without the risks that came with imported sweets or refined sugar. Farmers in Paraguay and Brazil still tend rows of stevia, their harvests supporting families and local economies. For them, this plant is more than a crop. It is a symbol of resilience and knowledge, a living link to ancestral wisdom. The world would eventually discover stevia's potency, but for the Guaraní, its credibility never needed proof from a laboratory. The plant's story began in the hands of people who understood its power long before regulators or corporations took notice. May 17, 1991, the Food and Drug Administration issued Import Alert Number 4506, effectively halting stevia at the border. The document, stamped and signed in Silver Spring, classified stevia leaves, crude extracts, and any foods containing them as unsafe food additives. The alert cited an anonymous complaint, never publicly identified, filed against a major tea company. This single memo triggered nationwide detention of shipments, shifting stevia from an herbal tradition to a regulatory target overnight. The FDA's justification rested on a handful of old toxicology reports. At the center stood a 1968 study involving laboratory rats. Researchers had force-fed rodents massive doses of stevia, amounts far beyond any real-world diet. Converting the rat dose to a human equivalent using FDA scaling rules reveals the gap. The rats received levels that would translate to a person consuming hundreds of gallons of stevia-sweetened tea every day. No evidence linked such high doses to harm in humans, yet the study's findings, reduced fertility and genetic changes in rats, became the foundation for the ban. The alert's language left no room for nuance. It referenced inadequate toxicological information and potential reproductive risks, drawing a hard line based on an experiment out of step with practical use. The agency's power to detain imports did not require public debate or new legislation. With a signature and a memo, access to a centuries-old plant was cut off, and the burden of proof shifted to anyone hoping to challenge the ruling. For stevia, the question was no longer about tradition or taste, it was about surviving a regulatory system that demanded evidence while holding the bar just out of reach. By the early 1990s, artificial sweeteners had become a billion-dollar industry. Brands like NutraSweet and Equal lined grocery shelves, backed by patents that locked in profits for manufacturers. The market for these synthetic sweeteners depended on intellectual property, chemical formulas, and production methods protected by law. Each new molecule could be patented, giving companies the exclusive right to sell and license their product for years. This legal barrier meant steady returns and little risk of competition from generic versions. Stevia, on the other hand, posed a different challenge. As a naturally occurring plant, stevia could not be patented in its original form. Anyone could grow it, harvest the leaves, and extract its sweetness without paying royalties. For food and beverage giants, this made stevia less attractive. There was no way to corner the market or recoup research costs through exclusive rights. The prospect of a cheap, non-patentable alternative arriving in the US threatened to disrupt an industry built on proprietary chemistry. With so much money at stake, the arrival of stevia was more than a scientific question. It was a direct threat to the business model that had dominated the sweetener market for decades. April 1998 brought federal agents to the Stevia Company, a small business tucked away in Arlington, Texas. FDA's inspection did not just target stevia packets or supplements, it swept up 2,500 cookbooks, threatening to destroy them because they sat too close to stevia products on the shelf. The owner, a Brazilian immigrant who built the company from scratch, faced the real possibility of watching years of work and hope go up in smoke. He was not alone. Health food stores across the country received warning letters, and some pulled stevia from their shelves entirely, fearing legal trouble. The message was clear. Promoting stevia, even through recipes or education, came with risks. While small businesses struggled under regulatory pressure, another crisis was unfolding in American homes and hospitals. Between 1991 and 2008, obesity rates climbed from 23% to 34%, according to NHANES data from the CDC. Type 2 diabetes cases nearly doubled, straining families and the healthcare system. Doctors filled clinics with patients learning to inject insulin, manage blood sugar, and cope with complications. The years lost to regulatory battles over a natural sweetener coincided with a public health emergency that touched millions. For many, the cost of delay was not just business, it was measured in lives changed by chronic disease. In 2017, a team of researchers published a breakthrough in Nature Communications that changed the scientific conversation around stevia. They identified the TRPM5 protein as a key player. This channel sits in the membrane of pancreatic beta cells, helping regulate the flow of calcium and, in turn, the release of insulin. When steviol glycosides, the sweet compounds from stevia, are present, they modulate TRPM5 activity. Instead of forcing the body into unnatural insulin spikes, stevia works with the body's own glucose sensing machinery, supporting a balanced response after eating. The story does not end at the cellular level. In 2010, a controlled trial published in Appetite had participants eat meals sweetened with stevia, aspartame, or sugar. Those given stevia consumed fewer calories overall and did not experience a rebound in hunger or eat more later in the day. Unlike some artificial sweeteners, stevia did not trigger compensatory overeating. People felt satisfied and their blood sugar and insulin levels stayed lower compared to sugar. The science reaches even deeper, into the gut. Stevia's glycosides pass through the digestive tract without being fermented by bacteria. Unlike sugar, which fuels harmful microbes and can disrupt the gut's balance, stevia leaves the microbiome largely unchanged. Studies show it does not feed candida or other problematic bacteria, helping break the cycle of cravings that start in the gut and travel to the brain. Together, these findings form a body of evidence. Stevia is not just safe, but uniquely suited to help people escape the grip of sugar addiction at the cellular level, in appetite control, and through the microbiome. December 2008 brought a sudden change. The FDA issued a generally recognized as safe notice called Gray S for high-purity steviol glycosides, clearing the way for stevia to be used in mainstream food and beverages. But this new approval did not open the door for everyone. Instead, major corporations, armed with proprietary purification methods and global supply contracts, seized the moment. Coca-Cola and Cargill launched Truvia, while PepsiCo and Merisant rolled out PureVia. Both relied on extracts now officially recognized as safe. These launches were backed by patents covering extraction and formulation, locking in control over the new sweetener market. Filings with the Securities and Exchange Commission from this period detail a flurry of joint ventures and exclusive agreements with stevia growers, especially in China and South America. the GRAS status applied only to purified extracts, not whole-leaf stevia, leaving small producers and traditional users on the sidelines. Supermarket shelves filled with branded stevia products almost overnight, but the benefits of this regulatory reversal flowed mainly to the companies able to patent and scale the process. A once banned plant was transformed into a corporate asset. Today, stevia lines supermarket shelves, but its 17-year suppression reminds us that powerful interests still influence what reaches our tables. Science now confirms what tradition long knew, yet access to natural solutions remains vulnerable. The real question is, what else is kept from us? Share your thoughts below.